Is there a simple way to look at leadership? Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and we inspire. And I recently came across an article by a gentleman named Anthony Boyd. The title of his article was Reach Your Leadership Potential by Avoiding These 8 Mistakes. Learn from my mistakes and the mistakes of others. Well, as I was reading the article, I couldn't help but go back to one of my basic premises about leadership, which is very simply, what is leadership? Leadership is the ability to empower people with the skill set that an individual needs to be successful. In other words, transposing the skills that of the formula how to be successful and making the whole group work at it, whether or not they do it consciously or unconsciously. And to prove this, I want to go over the 8 reasons that Mr. Boyd went over of mistakes that he made, and you'll see that actually the secret to success as a leadership are the same principles that make you successful as an individual. All right, the first one is lacking vision. Well, as an individual, if you don't have a particular goal or ambition that you're visualizing, that you're seeing, that you're moving towards, that is your quote-unquote why that motivates you to get something done, it's kind of difficult to become a success, isn't it? Well, guess what? The same thing applies to your team. If you can't get your team to visualize the outcome that needs to be achieved and make it so that they want to achieve it, just the same way as the individual, it's a powerful why. You need a powerful why to help your team grow as well. Number 2, staying within your comfort zone. Remember, these are reasons why he was not a successful leader. Well, if you stay within your comfort zone as an individual, you're never going to make it any place, are you? All right? I mean, you've already done the same old, same old. One of the things is you have to stretch beyond your comfort zone in order to become an achiever. And the ideal scenario is, and this helps you get into quote-unquote the zone, is to visualize each day a particular task and stretch just a little bit beyond that, just a little bit out of your comfort zone, and that will enable you as an individual to become more successful, to make progress. The same principle applies to your team, doesn't it? Get them to step a little bit out of their comfort zone, get them to stretch a little bit beyond what they're normally reaching for, but beyond their grasp, and you'll start to be making progress. Third reason why things that was a failure as a leader, dwelling on the past. Well, if you constantly are looking at, well, I failed at this, I failed at that. Remember, when you're driving in your car, the windshield is this big and the rear view mirror is that big. That's a clue, my friends. Stay out of the rear view mirror, because if you want to move forward, you have to be looking in that direction. Same thing applies to your troops at work. All right, just as an individual has to look forward, the team has to look forward. Guess what? The same results are going to happen to the team that happened to you as an individual as you're pursuing your your next level of success. You're going to run into little failures, and you can't dwell on those. What you have to do is continuously look forward. Fourth element, procrastinating. Well, if the key thing is, once again, you've got to get to the starting line as an individual and as a team, as a group. So if you as an individual, well, time isn't exactly right, the finances aren't right, I'll do it tomorrow, I don't feel like it. Procrastination. Well, the same thing applies to your team, doesn't it? You've got to get your team off the stick. You've got to give them a specific assignment. You've got to get them to the starting line. And once you get them in motion, just the same as you as an individual will become successful, once you get the inertia going in the right direction, once again, inertia can be a positive or a negative. If you're going in a negative direction, you're still moving, but it's going the wrong way. Point is, get to the starting line as an individual and get your team to the starting line. Best way to do that is to give specific assignments that they can see. Number 5, trying to be perfect. Once again, we're talking about getting to the starting line. Too many people, when they're envisioning their own individual success, stop because they look so far down the road and they can't see, well, how do I overcome that? Get to the starting line. Get to the starting line. Once you get your body in motion, it'll stay in motion and you'll run into roadblocks. And then, you know what your next objective is? Make a new starting line. So don't try and be perfect. Understand that the road to success is going to be fraught with potholes, and it's necessary that you are just prepared for that. That's part of the game. So don't try and be perfect. Get to the next starting line. That's very simple. Very simply, one of the things that prevents people is they try and be too perfect. Move, get forward, make a judgment. I mean, just like going on a diet, there's going to be some days when you're going to, well, I shouldn't have had that chocolate bar. That doesn't mean you quit, all right? That means you keep going forward. That means you say, all right, next time I'm gonna make it right. Number 6, succumbing to imposter syndrome. What exactly does that mean? Well, as an individual, people who struggle with imposter syndrome believe that they are undeserving of their achievements. They feel that they aren't as competent or intelligent as others might think, and that soon enough, people will discover the truth about them. Those with imposter syndrome are often well accomplished. They may hold high office or have numerous academic degrees, but they have a small opinion of themselves. What is that saying? It says this: number 1, you need to measure your progress as you're going along, and you as the leader must continually give feedback. And when you're giving feedback, typically, and I say this strongly, typically, you should be giving roughly 5 or 6 to 1. And what do I mean by that? You should be saying 5 or 6 good things like, hey, you did a nice job here, way to go, to every one where you say, that was a good job, and maybe we can improve it by doing this. You need to get people feeling like they're in the positive direction, because most of the time they are. Because if they weren't, they wouldn't be working there, would they? And you, just as you as an individual measure your progress, you measure your progress and you see that you're moving forward, and you encourage yourself, and you don't get into that imposter syndrome. Well, as a team, you need to make sure that your team sees the progress they're making, keep their attitudes up, and the way you do that is by continuously giving positive feedback. And then when you sort of sprinkle your positive feedback with occasional, we could improve this way, you did so much great there, you know what, we could be even greater if you did this. So the people are anxious to listen, as opposed to someone that's always giving negative feedback. Anytime someone opens their mouth, then the first thing that the person thinks is, oh, what did I do now that was wrong? Okay, that's the wrong attitude. You need to get the morale of your team going. And number 7, refusal to take accountability. Wow. You know what? Same thing. If you're not, you are where you are in the business world, in your personal life, in your spiritual life, because of the things you've done up to this point. You need to be accountable. And as an individual, that's the case. And also, as a leader, your team must be accountable. So you must continually inspect to expect and expect to inspect, which means, hey, I'm going to take a look and see what we're doing, because this is what we expect. This is, and make sure that the team understands that's what we expect, and we're going to inspect to make sure that we're making the proper progress. If not, then we go back, we review, and we see where we could have done something a little bit better. Now, I did mention that Mr. Boyd had 8 particular things, and the 8th one, quick to hire, slow to fire, well, you don't hire and fire yourself, although maybe you do. All right, maybe you do, which means maybe you meander from, one particular objective to another. In other words, you don't have singleness of purpose. You're getting distracted. So, once you have that strong why as an individual or as a team, that will give you the impetus to move forward. So let's briefly go over the 8 things that Mr. Boyd was talking about in his article. I give him a shout out. He was focusing on how these things hurt you as a leader. My point is the same things that make you successful as an individual also make you successful as a leader, because what you're trying to do as the leader is to get your team to perform as an individual would perform using the success formula. And briefly, here are the 8 things. 1, lacking vision. 2, staying within your comfort zone. 3, dwelling on the past. 4, procrastinating. 5, trying to be perfect. 6, succumbing to imposter syndrome. 7, refusal to take accountability. And number 8, quick to hire and slow to fire. And because we will never end a meeting on a philosophical note, either individually or as a team, let's get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.